Our third speaker of the day is Mr. Gopal sir. Gopal sir is Gopal sir is a senior member of Chinmaya Mission who has been associated with since 1980. He served as the CHIC secretary and Chinmaya Mission secretary from 1991 to 1994. Actively conducted the study classes and guiding CHIC students. He also organized the well-known soul song Sandhya programs in Bangalore. Sir has hosted Balwar camps and yagnas at his home while living in Shanghai, China, spreading this knowledge. Now, Sir is going to speak on no distraction for the one who does the right action. He is going to speak in English. Over to Sir.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. My prostrations to dear Puja Gurudev or dear Swami Brahmananji, Swamini Amma, Samatama, and all the Acharyas of Chinmaya Mission and the Acharyas who have helped in bringing me to this shape as of today. In this topic which I have taken up to discuss today with you, the logic that is behind why does a person who's in the path of yoga doesn't have distraction at all. Why is it so? Is it just simply faith? Krishna just says, whoever follows the path of yoga or the path of perfection, the path of righteousness, which like Gurudev puts it, is 100% never going to be destroyed. So it looks like he's trying to pep up Arjuna, who is in a pessimistic mind. Arjuna's mind is pessimistic. He wants to run away from the war. He also is now slightly got convinced that contemplation is very important in life. So in the first 39 shlokas of chapter 6, what happens is Krishna slowly gets Arjuna to understand that it is not just changing your way of life. Learning to change your way of life is not going to help. Every step through your life, you should start contemplating, and he starts giving the basics of contemplation, gives the advantages of contemplation, and slowly takes him to a position where Arjuna gets the Shraddha. So now you can see Arjuna who was asking, can you tell me what is important? Don't try to take me anywhere. Tell me perfectly what is required. The Shraddha is not there still with Arjuna. But in the chapter 6, he says, his question, which we are going to take it down the line, he says a person who's got Shraddha and a person who's in the path of yoga, what happens to him? So the change to Arjuna itself, the concept of learning what contemplation itself has brought that change to Arjuna, that it is not, till now he was saying that, tell me clearly what it is, because he was almost ordering Krishna, don't take me here and there, tell me what is perfectly the right path. But here he says, because he is putting the shoes of the sadhak himself and saying that no, a person who has got Shraddha, a person who has got what he call in the path of contemplation, what happens to him? So before that, let's find out what are the things that are specifically told as part of contemplation. The physical aspects of contemplation, the attitude of meditation that we need to get into are all the what you call trial and errors that we do in our life to get to a level where Krishna says, you must start seeing me in everyone, and you must also see that I am there in everybody, and for that you must be ready. Are you ready for that? Then to start getting to that level, we need to take the challenges that we have faced in our life and see where we have actually not been able to have equanimity when we see a situation. For example, I see a situation, I get angry with that situation, then I should be able to contemplate and reflect, why did it happen? What did I miss at that time? I need to do it at a very low level. I need to start practicing it at a higher level. I might once I start practicing it many times, what happens? It becomes slowly a habit, and then it becomes easy for me to get into contemplation. But in this process itself, what happens is I am also gaining knowledge that no, I am able to understand this. I am able to understand this. There's a path where as I start learning, my ego is also going up. When I start practicing this, I am also trying to learn the world around. So I am in a combination of I am also gaining ego because I am learning more. I see around me people are not learning so much. I am learning, which is good because unless we learn, we'll never know. But I am putting my effort, Nididhyasanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam someplace. I am learning out of it. And as a dual personality, I'm moving in my life. So in this dual personality, as I'm moving in my life, I get inputs from lot of sadhus around me. The sadhus will say, now you must start contemplating on the Brahman. So he says, okay, use Narayana Upanishad. So Narayana Upanishad, I take Narayana Upanishad and like now I start saying, Narayana, it's quite big, but I take one portion. There are two different portions in Narayana Upanishad. It's very interesting. It says, Om Ityekaksharam Namaiti Dve Akshare Narayanaeti Panchakshirani Etadvai Narayanasyastaksharam Param. So many verses which are meditative. One set of verses, okay. Then there are another set of verses. When you finish at the end of Narayana Upanishad, then you get Etadathirva Shiroyo Dhite Rataradhiya no Ratrikrutam Papanna Sayati Sayamadhiya no Divasakrutam Papanna Sayati. Both are in Narayana Upanishad. I am growing in both the ways. I actually start seeing this and say, it is told my papa should go, I can chant it every day. And I start getting fixed up in chanting Narayana Upanishad, or based on my vasanas, my nididhyasana, I take the portion which says, no, Om Ityekaksharam, Nama Itidve Akshare, everything is Narayana, start seeing Narayana and everybody. I can take the contemplation shlokas, or I can take the shlokas which give me punya. So in any karma I do, two things are going to come. One is I build up my path towards my ultimate goal of moksha, or I build up lot of punya. Invariably punya will come. When you chant all these things, they have the automatic results which will be coming to us punya. Now what is that I am going to concentrate on is what is being told in this chapter 6, saying start concentrating on these contemplations. Start thinking about everybody is me, I am in everybody. Now start detaching yourself from taking a punya karma which is focused on punya. Start taking karmas which are focused on places where I can start to learn how do I contemplate more. So this is what Krishna has been telling till now. So Arjuna has now understood the difference. Instead of going to this path, punya keeps coming, doesn't matter, but I need to focus on what brings me knowledge which can remove my ignorance. And once I get that knowledge, I do my contemplation, then I am on the path of yoga. This is what he calls as path of yoga. Now in the path of yoga, I put lot of effort, and Krishna says you need to put lot of effort. And in that path of yoga, as I put lot of effort, lot of my time is spent where I don't concentrate on developing punya for me. So what has happened? I have selected the person whom Arjuna is talking about is a person who has selected this path and he is not focused on the punya. Punya will come. Like he chants Narayana Upanishad, focuses on those shloka, he starts understanding more and more the world. He sees Krishna everywhere or he sees Narayana everywhere. He has been in the path of yoga. Now Arjuna gets it out. A person who has put so much effort from not focusing on punya at all, but completely focusing on the path of yoga, suddenly what happens? There could be three types of shaktis which will pratibandha will come from different places. It can be adhyatmika, it can be adibhautika, it can be adidevika. Something happens, your life is stopped. So he says because he has not reached the state of perfection in yoga, All he has done is waste. At least if he had got punya, he would have gone to Swarga at least. What is that you're trying to tell this Sadhaka? You're actually putting him in a mess. He will, if punya is there, based on his punya, he might get another chance to get develop all these what you call punya karma. But punya is also he is not focused. So this is what Arjuna is saying. Then he says, "You are saying all this. See me and everybody. It cannot happen. It cannot happen because the mind is chanchala. I cannot have a common mind. Means in some mood I am able to see Krishna everywhere. Some mood I am not able to see Krishna everywhere. Krishna says no, abhyasa. You must do practice. It will happen. But when he finishes that, he adds one more twist. Krishna adds one twist. He says that okay, but if the person is not completely focused on ensuring the intellect controls the mind. The intellect is controlling the mind. There are chances this person can fail. But a person who cannot control the mind through his intellect has got chances to fail and he might not be able to do contemplation. So Arjuna gets afraid now. Arjuna, as a pessimist, is afraid. Oh my God, I don't want to take this risk. I also want to get some punya so that no, I can survive. So he asks Krishna. That is why he comes and asks Krishna, what happens to those people who actually, like he says, the Krishna says, the uncontrolled self. Now, what is this uncontrolled self? Very interesting because if you don't understand why Arjuna asks this question is a bit difficult. A person who has got low purity in the mind, less chitta shuddhi, but is in a path of yoga. What happens? He gets distracted. Some small thing happens, he gets distracted, but he's in a path of yoga. He is understood, I don't want punya, but I want to be in the path of yoga, but I get distracted. So that person, is it a waste? All his life he has put, is it a waste? So he asked this question, saying that no, ayati shraddayo peto yoga chalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kangatim krishna gachati. So he says, what happens to the one who has full shraddha? See, Arjuna is saying that I am talking about a person who has got shraddha. He has actually taken up this path and he is in the path of yoga, but wanders in his path completely due to circumstances. See, circumstances can happen. Ayatihi means anything which could stop our progress in this Vedantic path. Because there are so many Shaktis that are happening. Lord might want us to do some other thing. We are caught on to path of yoga. But he says, no, you got some work to do some mistakes. Something you have to do, you have to face some problems in this life itself. So you might be taken out of that path for some reason. He knows the reason. Does it mean all the effort he has put becomes a waste? So, in this, the reply to this, Krishna says that, see, anything that we do is coming out of what we did in the past. Whatever we have invested in the past is today's present. Whatever we do today will be in our future. We cannot escape that. Just that this person is no more in this world doesn't mean it will go off. So Gurudev gives a very good way of looking at this, very interesting way of looking at it. He says, okay, let me see what is the answer of Krishna, then explain that. Okay, Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Partha Naiveva Naputra Vinashtasyasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krut Kaschit Durgatin Tata Gacchati. So Gurudev's explanation is saying that a person who has strengthened the intellect, a person who is on the path of yoga, will never face any destruction. And he says also that this is not some statement to make Arjuna optimistic. He was in a pessimistic mode because he was asking all these negative questions. Oh, I can't do this. Mind is chanchala. So Krishna gives him a solution. Do practice. Then he says that no. Why should somebody focus on this? All the effort they put is going to go a waste. Again, next Janma they have to start from base. So it doesn't look to be a very good option for people. So Krishna gives this, and Gurudev gives a very good explanation of why. What is the logic behind this? Krishna's instruction. See, he starts by saying that in all our religions and Hinduism, one major difference is any action we do, the sin is coming for that action. So you take any religion, no, they'll say you do a mistake, there'll be a judgment by somebody who will say, because you have done this activity, I will put you in hell or I will put you in heaven. So this is what is the common thing across, and he says this is also there in our Puranas. But he says Vedantic explanation of karma and its phala is different. He says Vedantic explanation of karma is that you do an action today, the action will punish you or action will give you a reward. There is nobody in between who is coming and saying that no, you will get reward, you will get punishment. He gives a very good example of saying you got a transformer which is 20,000 volts. They put very clearly danger, don't touch and everything. You won't touch, immediately it gives you the result. Your action, the result is given by your own action. And he says the common principle of Vedantic is action, the cause and action, cause and effect are nothing but the same, but in different forms. He says your thought of doing this action, your activity of doing this action itself will give you a reverse, what you call reverse effect, which will trouble your mind. He says you take a person does an immoral act. There is nobody who is sitting somewhere to come and give you judgment. Your mind itself starts shaking. Your mind is completely stuck for the next 10, 12 years, saying, when will I get caught for this immoral act? So the action itself punishes us. It is not that there is somebody who is punishing it. So he extends this logic. A person who is actually doing lot of righteousness in his life, that activity itself should give him result. It is not like no, there Chitragupta is writing saying that you did so much of studies, everything. I am writing this in my script, and when you go to the next life, I'll take this and put it in you so that you can work. No, he says this activity that has been done. What happens is for every righteousness activity I do, I actually build up something in my chitta. So he gives an example of how a thought becomes an habit. He says, my thought to be on the path of yoga, then I say, okay, to be on path of yoga, I need to do some 2, 3 actions. Let me start doing it. So I start doing 2, 3 activities to go in that path. 1 week I do, 2 week I do, 1 year I do, 2 years I'm continuing in that. My thought has become a habit for me now. In 2 to 3 years, it becomes a habit. I don't have to go and study scriptures to say, should I be on this path? Should I not be on this path? I am already convinced I am there. Now, in difficult situation in life, where I am attracted, where Maya comes and attracts me, it will actually try to pull me in different ways, or I get pulled in different ways. Maya has got nothing to do. I get pulled by Maya in different ways. At that time, do I still maintain my habit? Then I have actually moved the habit to my own character in my mind. Now, my own character pursued in most difficult conditions in my life, in my situation that I face, if I ensure that I don't waver from this path of life, then it becomes my culture. Now, in this all the stages that I have gone through, my vasanas which were there, the old vasanas are getting erased, and this becomes a very strong vasana in me. Every time I started from the thought to the habit to the character, and from the character to the culture that I become, slowly gets engraved in my vasanas. So this engravement is the result of my good actions. And he says, this vasana that is engraved in you comes to your next life, and from there you start your life. So he says, none of the righteous action that we do goes a waste, because the righteous action itself is ensuring that it becomes a strong vasana in me, and that strong vasana which is there in me slowly gets engraved in my what is vasanas in my set of sukshma sharira as a strong vasana, and that goes with me to my next life, and from the next life, from where I have gone, that vasana pushes me back into righteous action. So none of the righteous actions that I have taken up today are going to go as a waste. That is what he actually, this is Gurudev's explanation. Fantastic explanation, not written by in a sloka, but he says this is logic. Please understand, Krishna is not just bluffing you, just saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of you. Your next janma is assured. You do good work, it'll take." No, he says, no. Look at the logic. Krishna is always very clear that anything that we do, we are the responsible person for our actions, and this is what is going to come to us in the next life. So, from the question, from the initial state where difficult to do contemplation, when that was explained by Krishna, Shraddha of our Arjuna goes up like anything. And that Shraddha and whatever he has told as part of yoga, these two starts getting into his mind, how should I do it? And when he is in that churning to say, how do I do it? He gets some doubts, saying that in this I can do. You say that one of the things of contemplation, see me in everybody, see everybody is in me. It is very difficult for me because I can sometimes when I'm calm, I can see it. And I'm not calm, I'm not able to see it. So my mind will not accept it. So he gives the solution. You should do abhyasa. There is no choice for that. Your mind should be under control. Do a lot of abhyasa. And when you do abhyasa, your mind and the intellect become married. Gurudev says, they become married. So you are not taken away hither and thither. And that intellect and mind which is married is ready for contemplation. But he says, you have come with a set of vasanas. Krishna says, you come with a set of vasanas. You have actually built up all this, no doubt. But what happens, your vasanas sometimes can pull you here and there. If your intellect is not strong, like I said, my habit to become a character, in between there could be challenges around me. They'll be saying, "Hey, today it is okay. Don't worry. Nobody is seeing you. Escape this whatever path you have taken." If I am able to avoid those things, then it is good. But Krishna says, all this is good, Arjuna. But even if one moment a person doesn't have the intellect under the control, intellect doesn't control the mind, he will not be able to complete his path of yoga. So that is the next stage. He tells him. Then Arjuna gets confused because he is pessimistic. He wants to be very clear that no, this should not happen. So he asks that question sincerely. When he asks the question, saying what happens to him, Krishna says, "Don't worry, they will never get destroyed." And he concludes by saying, there are two things that will happen to these people. Whoever has put so much of effort in the path of yoga and who are actually like no built up so much of good vasanas, they've got two ways that will happen to them in their next janma. That is because they have actually focused on the moksha pada, not on the punya pada. By chance they got punya, let us say. He says, by chance they got punya, don't worry, they will go to the Devaloka, they will exhaust their Devaloka punya, they will come back to the earth, but when they come back to the earth, the vasanas will not go off. The vasanas will again put them in the path. So he says they might go to Devaloka because of their punya or the superior lokas. They will anyway come back because they still have a lot of vasanas. This good vasana itself is still there. No, they will have to come to exhaust the good vasana also. So they will come, but their vasanas will be strong enough to take them in their path. And he says, mostly these people, when they come back to earth, after they have completed all their punya in the higher lokas, they will get two types of what you call families which they will join. One is very rich family, but they are pure family. Very rich family, but they are pure, so that he can continue sadhana. The second one is that they will be born in a family of yogis. And what happens? His path or to yoga becomes very smooth for him. So he says that the nature itself will take care of these people. Why should you be worried? Don't be worried. And that is the solution Krishna gives. So I thank everybody for giving me this opportunity to share this with you. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir. We understood that. So, what you sow, so you reap. So, you get whatever you deserve, not what you desire. So, finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Swamiji, because on the sadhana day, Swamiji said one thing. So, all those speakers who are going to speak for the 75th year celebration, he said, you are not going to teach others, you are going to learn something. So that is so much, it's happened. We all are experiencing that. These 2 months we are going through so peaceful, and our mind is so good. We can't express that experience. Thank you so much, Swamiji, and we always expect your blessings and our Seshadri sir's guidance throughout, so that we keep continuing this in a more